Tesla could potentially make more money from its Bitcoin investment this year than profits from electric cars in all of 2020. What's your take on that? What's your Bitcoin take, and the fact that the price can just go up or down based on a simple tweet from him?
Well, look, Elon has tons of money and he's very sophisticated. So, I don't worry that, his Bitcoin will sort of randomly go up or down. I do think people get bought into these manias who may not have as much money to spare. So I'm not bullish on Bitcoin. And, my general thought would be that, if you have less money than Elon, you should probably watch out.
Why aren't you bullish on Bitcoin?
Look, there are things we invest in society that produce output. Bitcoin happens to use a lot of energy. It happens to promote anonymous transactions. They're not reversible transactions. The Gates Foundation does a lot in terms of digital currency, but those are things where you can see who's making the transaction. So digital money is a good thing. And, there's a different approach that's local currency and attributed and, deals with all the money laundering and terrorism type regulations, and yet gives you the very the convenience and the low cost of transaction. And so, our foundation is very proud that in the pandemic, a lot of the countries we funded to do this were able to get money out to their citizens very, very efficiently. So that's something that it's not got the visibility of Bitcoin, but the move towards digital money that we're very engaged in is a super positive thing that eventually will get to even the poorest countries.
All right, everybody. Welcome back for another one. And I wanted to start this video off showing you that clip from Bill Gates talking to you about his true feelings concerning Bitcoin and what he sees coming. What are the main highlights? Well, he mentioned that they have been using cryptocurrencies already. He just sees a world where the ones that are fast, efficient, low-cost transactions actually are used, right? They have real utility in the world. And he says that it is coming. It's just going to be the ones that basically have anti-money laundering and KYC built into them, right? But what's he talking about? And by the way, this is going to be another one of those videos where if you don't get it now, after this video, you will never get it, okay? Because I'm going to make it pretty clear for you. All right, so what's he talking about? Bill Gates just told you. Well, if you don't recall, even dating back to 2017, Ripple and the Gates Foundation team up to level the economic playing field for the poor. Well, what did he say right in that video? That he can see these digital assets or digital money being very beneficial for countries that are poor, right? He said that right in the video. Was he talking about Ripple? Maybe. And another one from January 27th, 2020, about a year ago. How Bill Gates is using cryptocurrency Ripple to fight global poverty. Right, I'm not going to read all these articles, just showing you the connections, right? You can go ahead and read them. I will put the links in the description. Another one, just from last year, September 17th, 2020. I talked about this on my channel at the time. Ripple expands partnership with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation via Moja Loop. Well, who else is in there? Well, Google's in there, Modusbox, Imidyar Network, Coil, PhonePi, and well, the Rockefeller Foundation. Interesting. All the money. All right. Why does this matter? Well, here's another one as well that ties in together, right? U.S. government enlists USDC for global foreign policy objective in Venezuela. All right. So they have this basically process they're using to support, provide relief funds to Venezuela. And they're using USDC to do so. Well, what did USDC just move to? Stellar and Algorand. I believe they're moving to Solana as well. Right, so these are all ones to be bullish on, right? To look into. What is my point though? Well, my point is that stable coins are going to be the first real use case in crypto. The one where financial institutions are actually involved. None of this is going to take off and have real utility without the financial institutions, the companies that basically control and own the world, right? Why did Brian Brooks change all these rules recently, though? In July of 2020, federally chartered banks and thrifts may provide custody services for crypto assets. All right, and then another one, January 4th, just this year. Federally chartered banks and thrifts may participate in independent node verification networks and use stablecoins for payment activities. What do you think's coming? Right? Ripple, Stellar, Algorand, I believe even, they all have KYC, AML built into the platforms. What did Bill Gates say? We need low-cost, efficient transactions in these crypto markets with AML and KYC built in. He just said that. What do you think is coming? It's going to be XRP, Stellar. It's going to be all these platforms that have this KYC and stuff built into them and that actually work as a payment mechanism. All right, and stable coins are going to be the first real use case. What else is coming, right? So just yesterday, I'm going over news that I missed, right? So crypto company Ripple registers entity in Wyoming. Why did they do that? I thought they were going to leave the US because they're getting sued by the SEC. Or maybe they're not and they never planned to. Right? Why am I talking about this? Well, if you don't remember, Kraken became the first crypto exchange to charter a US bank back in the day, right? September 16th of 2020. So, Kraken is the first cryptocurrency firm in the US to become a bank. Why does this matter? Well, the Wyoming Banking Board voted to approve the San Francisco-based crypto exchange's application, and Kraken is now the first SPDI bank in Wyoming. So Kraken became a bank, and they did it in Wyoming. Ripple's moving to Wyoming. Why are they doing this? Well, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but just a little over a month ago at this point, Ripple put out this report talking about looking ahead to 2021 and beyond, how they see the crypto space developing. Well, first and foremost, Ashish Burla, RippleNet general manager, says crypto companies are exploring more traditional banking opportunities, as evidenced by the number of crypto and blockchain firms that applied for banking charters in 2020. He said the tide is turning. It's possible that we could even see a fintech or a cryptocurrency company acquire a traditional financial institution this coming year. Maybe that's why they're moving to Wyoming? Brad Garlinghouse also said that he sees an acquisition in the pipeline. All right, what else did they say is happening for this year? The dawning of DeFi. Well, Flare Networks, XRP. DeFi is coming to XRP Ledger. Oh, they said regulatory clarity is coming. And that it's also going to be the year of CBDCs, and that it will be beyond proof of work. Well, what do CBDCs run on? Well, they're going to run on Ripple, they're going to run on Stellar, they're going to run on Algorand. They're telling you what's coming. If you don't see it, it's because you don't want to. Okay? Moving on to some news. The most important news of the day. The New York Attorney General's $850 million probe of Bitfinex and Tether ends in an $18.5 million settlement. So the big doom and gloom cloud hanging over crypto has been settled. The New York Attorney General's office has settled with Bitfinex over a 22-month inquiry into whether the cryptocurrency exchange sought to cover up the loss of $850 million in customer and corporate funds held by a payment processor. Okay, so it settles as Bitfinex and Tether will admit no wrongdoing, but will pay a slap on the wrist $18.5 million fine, which is funny because they have a money printer, so it's okay. And then going forward, they'll provide quarterly reports describing the composition of Tether's reserves for the next 2 years. More significantly, these reports will match information Tether already provided about its reserves. All right, so they say they're going to bring no charges as part of the settlement. All right, this is going to be important going forward. So now that they have to provide quarterly reports for the next 2 years, I don't think anything's going to come out of this, because I think that they can just doctor it up once again, like they have been doing. They just said reports will match information they've already been providing. So who knows what's going to happen, but my main point is they got a slap on the wrist. And even so, the Attorney General, Letitia James, said Bitfinex and Tether recklessly and unlawfully covered up massive financial losses to keep their scheme going and to protect their bottom lines. Tether's claims that its virtual currency was fully backed by US dollars at all times was a lie. They just straight up said that they've been lying and scamming people. But they get an $18.5 million slap on the wrist. What do you think is going to happen with the Ripple case? Nothing. And then they're going to become a bank. And then XRP is going to blow up. And you're going to miss out if you don't have any. Guess we can keep an eye, though, on this Tether chart. This is the USDT market cap. So as you can see, it goes up in a straight line, and it has big gaps of, billions of dollars printed in a day. So they get to keep on printing, guys, so they can keep the bubble going. Next up, as you can see, the news is suddenly bearish, right, when it was bullish a month ago. Janet Yellen sounds warning about extremely inefficient Bitcoin, right, which I do agree with. What she's saying is that Bitcoin is extremely inefficient way to conduct monetary transactions, which is 100% true, right? My point being, now she's sounding the alarm again on Bitcoin. Who else is doing so? JP Morgan. Forget Bitcoin. Fintech is the real COVID-19 story, JP Morgan says. So they think Bitcoin is an economic sideshow, despite the crypto's monster rally. And the rise of digital finance is the real financial transformation story of the COVID era, according to JP Morgan. All right. So JP Morgan and Janet Yellen are downgrading their Bitcoin investment right at the moment. Well, what were they doing last month? JP Morgan says Bitcoin could rise to 146,000 long term as it competes with gold, right? So a month ago it was competing with gold, and now it's an economic sideshow. Which one's true? I'm just showing you this stuff to show you how they just manipulate everybody. Like, they do whatever they want in the news. Can't see that, you're blind, right? Sorry, not trying to be mean, but it's true. Oh man, pay attention to the narrative is all I say. Right, we'll see what happens. But the only thing I really pay attention to is, for one, the story that they're giving us, but two, the charts. Even though no one wants to look at the charts, right? They want to say that this doesn't matter. So as I've shown you before, the logarithmic curve, right? This comes from Dave the Wave on Twitter, right? It's not my chart, but he does a great job at explaining how this works. So he has shown that every single time up to this point, we've had a touch on this line. We've had a 33-degree retracement that has taken 365 days to happen. Right? Touch the chart, or the line, 365 days. Touch the line, 365 days. Well, look where we're at again. We're fast approaching, as I said. This is the only concern of mine. Right? If we didn't have this magical mystery line that no one seems to care about, I would think Bitcoin's going to keep running. But, and I'm not saying that this has to happen, I'm saying it's a possible scenario, right? Ignoring it is ridiculous. Ignoring anything is ridiculous. You need to examine all scenarios and prepare for all of them simultaneously, right? So what are you going to do if Bitcoin hits this trend line and retraces for another year? Does that screw you over? If so, then maybe reconsider what's going on, or just watch it carefully. So, what are the possibilities here? Possibility number one, Bitcoin hits the line, and then it consolidates for another year or so, maybe 4 months. We might see something like we saw in 2013, as I've shown you. So we had the first, coming out of the first halving, we had a quick run up and then basically a 4-month short-term lived bear market. And then we had another bull run, came up here, peaked, and that was it. All right, so scenario one, we could consolidate for a few months and then have another run and be done by the end of the year. Scenario number two, we could just rip right through it. Side note, that would be the most convenient narrative, right? Just rip right through it, never saw it, never happened, wasn't there. That's convenient. I'm saying that because on the contrary, Bob Lucas, not sure if you follow him or not, guy has like 40-something thousand followers, been a trader forever. And I presented this to him, asking his opinion on this. He said, don't play into the convenient narrative. What in the world is convenient about Bitcoin topping out right now and retracing down to 20,000? It's the inconvenient narrative and not the one that anyone wants to look at. Well, on my channel, I'm not just going to keep giving you the BS. Everyone get your laser eyes on. We're going to 100K and nothing's stopping us. No, I'm showing you all scenarios so that you can prepare at least mentally for what were to happen, and you can examine your portfolio to make sure that you're prepared for any scenario. All right? The convenient narrative would be that we rip through, and I hope that's what happens for everybody, because I'm not sure that a Bitcoin bear market right now would be beneficial for altcoins. But that leads me to the other scenarios, right? If we don't rip through, Bitcoin consolidates for a few months and we go into an extremely ridiculous alt season, or Bitcoin consolidates for months and altcoins do exactly whatever Bitcoin does. So Bitcoin keeps going down, alts go down, or whatever. But ultimately, my point I'm getting at through all of this is there will be a decoupling. It's coming, all right? And the people who have all the money that run the world are telling you that. Right? They've told you over and over it's going to be the crypto projects that have AML, that have low cost and efficient transactions, right? Janet Yellen, as I just showed you today, said Bitcoin is inefficient for payments, right? Bill Gates said the same thing. This is not an accident or a coincidence. They are warning you ahead of time. But anyway, just prepare for all scenarios, right? Look at your current personal individual situation and see what you think you might need to do. And pay close attention to this, because regardless of what anyone has said, Bitcoin is respecting this progression curve. It has, okay? So pay attention, all right? All right, so I wanted to also look at this altcoin dominance real quick. As you can see, we've had a little pullback onto what I would call a critical support level at this point. We'll see if it holds and continues up. Now, I'm kind of thinking the charts look like we're going to get a decoupling, right? That it's about to be an alt season. I don't know what happens to Bitcoin. If it goes down, how long it consolidates for, if it keeps going. I just think altcoins look like they're ready to break free, right? You can see the same story in the altcoin market cap, right? So as you can see, we just broke an all-time high on the altcoin market cap, and it looks like it's finding support on the high and ready to consolidate and move up. That's what I would guess. I mean, same thing happened before in 2017. We had a struggle at the all-time high, finally got above, consolidated for a few months, and then took off, right? Will we see the same thing here? Or will we just keep going? Will we crash? Personal opinion, looking at the chart, I don't think it looks like we're going to crash. I think it looks like we're going to have an alt season, right? I do. I've been saying that. I've been positioning for it for months. But we'll see. Like I said, you got to look at all scenarios. You got to look at the narrative, the fundamentals, the news, but also the charts, right? It all ties into being a good investor or trader. You just got to know what strategy you're using. And don't listen to these laser eyes guys telling you that there's nothing you got to do except for hold your bag to zero, right? No. Don't get caught like that, right? Have a plan. All right, that's about all I got for you. One last thing I remember I didn't put in here was that Gary Gensler is officially going to be confirmed on March 2nd. So that's a very important day to remember. Also in this Ripple case, because as we know, he's pro-crypto. He understands crypto. I think there's no doubt he was selected for this exact reason. So they could end up settling this Ripple case sooner than expected or throw it out altogether. We'll see what happens. Just pay attention. Hope that was informative. As always, please like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.
Paper money is going away.
Yes.
And crypto is a far better way to transfer value than pieces of paper. That's for sure.
Without a doubt.
That has its pros and cons.
Just to clarify, Tesla's not going to start selling Bitcoin anytime soon.
No, we're not.
Okay, you heard it here first, even though everyone thought that.
Yeah, right.